Hey everyone, it's the Lemesis, your nemesis, but you can call me Lem. Welcome to Just Another Cheesehead podcast. I'm a little under the weather this week, just like the Green Bay Packers. Go Pack Go, believe it or not, I am a Packer fan. Like I said, I'm an owner, shareholder, and proud to be. And I'm coming out with a video today because we had a Thursday night football game and our Sunday game. And man, was it a stinker. Now, I didn't really want to respond to the last game that we had till Thursday, just because, I could kill two birds with one stone this week. So we're going to go talk about both of those games. But nothing has really changed on my end, from my perspective, on how the Green Bay Packers have played this season. I do believe the writing's on the wall, and I think people need to realize that we're not good, and we won't be good at all this season. Last week, we squeaked out a win, 17, I think, to 3 or 17 to nothing. We come back, we win 18-17 against the Saints on September 24th. And I think the theme we need to understand about this season and all the seasons moving forward is talent matters. And we're not talented enough. I'm here to give you guys real information. I'm here to give you guys the truth. I'm not a hater. I'm just speaking the facts. When you look at the rest of the league, when you look around the league and you see other players and on other teams and you see other organizations, even when we had Aaron Rodgers, we never looked like a team that was dominant, except for in 2010 when we won the Super Bowl. We were never strong enough, mean enough, talented enough. We were just good enough to get into the playoffs. But then we found ourselves in situations where we played against teams that were just so dominant. I'm not disrespecting the men who play on our team, but when you see the Legion of Boom, they played like real men. When you see the San Francisco 49ers for all those years, even with Kaepernick, they played like real men. They smashed us in the mouth. They hit us hard. We're missing that ideology in Green Bay. I don't think we draft the right players. I don't think we do enough in free agency. And I think, unfortunately, because we lost our number one talent in Aaron Rodgers, we're going to see a huge discrepancy in how well we think we are, or how good we think we are, because we're not that good. The simple truth is it doesn't all fall on the shoulders of Jordan Love, right? It's easy to pick on him. He's, it's good. I was talking to my buddy last night. I said, man, it's really good to see that, Green Bay is not racist, right? I say that because Jordan Love's a black quarterback, and the state of Wisconsin is embracing him. So that's a beautiful thing. That's a very positive thing to look at. I was just trying to look at the silver lining, and I was like, yeah, look at all the love they're showing Jordan Love. And I mean, of course, he's not the only black guy on the team, but he's the leader. He's the quarterback. He's the captain. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. Because I remember when Aaron Rodgers tried to link arms for during the NFL season to stand with Colin Kaepernick, nobody in the stands gave a rip about that. So I thought that was quite interesting. But I honestly think that's a good thing to look at. But I think that's really the only thing good to look at. That's the reason why I laugh, and that's why I bring it up. Because we're just not talented. We come back down 17-3 or 17-0 because Derek Carr gets injured. And I said it when it happened. I was like, wow, if they score another touchdown, we're done. They dominated that game. And Derek Carr goes down, and then our team gets life, and we come back. And unfortunately, Jameis Winston wasn't prepared, right, for the Saints. Unfortunately for them, he wasn't prepared. It's so funny to me. They always pretend that the backup can come in If the backup's prepared, he's probably starting on another team. Right? Look what Nick Foles did, right? Nick Foles comes in, he's prepared, and then as soon as he performs, you're like, oh, snap. This guy shouldn't be sitting on the bench. He should be starting. And he wins a Super Bowl. Right? So he was prepared. Most backup quarterbacks that are actually prepared honestly end up starting. And Jameis Winston was not prepared. And that's why he's sitting on the bench. And that's the reason why we won the game. It gave us just enough life. I think we unfortunately misunderstand that momentum plays a huge role in the game of football. It's not just X's and O's. It's the crowd. It's the movement. It's the potential mistakes, the penalties that get guys riled up to perform well. You know, we saw it. I saw it the other day with the Phillies. There's a player on the Philadelphia Phillies, or I don't even know, the MLB team name. I'm not a big baseball fan, but he was performing really poorly, and he was going through like a bad streak. So the fans kept booing and ragging on the guy, and they did this for a long time. And then eventually they just flipped the script. The fans decided to band together and cheer on this guy. So literally every time he'd go stand up to bat, they would give him a standing ovation. And they did that, and he started performing better. And that was quite interesting. I don't think that's gonna change here in Green Bay. None of that's gonna work here. It's not gonna work here. But it does help. It does help. We are not talented, guys. We don't have enough talent. Aaron Rodgers covered up a lot of sins. Aaron Jones, he's fast, but he's not big enough. He's not strong enough. We don't have, when you have a player like Aaron Jones, you need some big guys around him. Our guys just aren't big enough. They're not strong enough. They're bigger and stronger than me. They're faster than me. They're faster than you. But they're just not good enough. And that's what we're seeing, unfortunately, on the field. And I don't think time is going to change anything. Aaron Jones is in his prime. Kenny Clark is in his prime. A.J. Dillon is in his prime. Christian Watson, Rasul Douglas, Jair Alexander. All these guys are in their prime. They're not going to just get better, right? They might become more seasoned and understand the game more, but they're going to lose more of their ability as they age. And right now, this is the best you're getting. And in the football world, speed and strength matter. Yeah, your intelligence matters, but a lot of raw talent can make up for that. And unfortunately, that's what you're seeing here. And now I think we can make excuses for Thursday night's game all day long. We could talk about how Jair was out, Eric Stokes was out, Bakhtiari was out. But let's be real. I mean, Bakhtiari is going to always be out. I mean, he's got an injury that just keeps plaguing him, and something just is wrong with him all the time. Jair's having the same thing. For some reason, he seems to not be able to stay as healthy as well. Eric Stokes, he had some injuries as well. I mean, it's the game of football. This is what happens. We know it every single year. We're not talented enough through and through. And even if we had all of our starters, I still don't think we're good enough. Look at what the Eagles did to the Bucs in their hometown. That was so disrespectful. You see how they got beat? They got manhandled. The 49ers manhandled their opponents. These guys are legit. And what are we going to do? They beat the brakes off the Steelers 30-7. Then they get a worthy opponent in the Rams 30-23, but they're divisional. And then you see them do what they did to the Giants, just dismantled them 30-12. And now we're going to really see how good they are, because they definitely play the Cowboys. Let me see if they got the Eagles on their schedule. And they got the Eagles. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be the NFC Championship debut, December 3rd, 49ers versus the Eagles. We're just not good enough, guys. I think you need to really understand that. I am a broken record. I am going to repeat myself. How many times do we have to go into the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers carrying us on his back, and then we just lay an egg and a dud because the rest of the team doesn't perform. And then the one game Aaron Rodgers doesn't perform in, we dump and load up on him. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Historically, we give up 30-plus points per game in the playoffs when Aaron Rodgers was behind center. He, on average, scores 20 points a game in the playoffs, which was more than Brady. He, on average, scored more points in the playoffs, which was more than Brady, and our team, on average, gave up more than 30 points per game in the playoffs. I mean, come on, guys. We had our opportunities. It's gone. It's unfortunate. But this team, come on. What are we doing here? I've already called it. I told you what we're going to do. I'm still going to stick with my guns. I think we win against the Raiders next week. I mean, I won't be surprised if we lose. And then we get a bye week. But I do think we come back and we lose against the Broncos. We lose against the Vikings. We lose against the Rams. We lose against the Steelers. We lose against the Chargers. And then we take another L against the Lions, another L against the Chiefs. And I think that's when you guys need to realize that, like, we're not good enough. Those teams are legit, guys. You can make the argument the Broncos, because they got the brakes beat off of them, 70 points to 70-20. But what happens when you play a team like that is that they're men. They're not going to want to get disrespected. So that's a game that I think they could easily come in and take advantage of us. I really do. So I see us thinking, oh man, it's just the Broncos. And we come off a bye week, and I see us taking an L. We're going to lose a lot of games this season, guys, because we're just not talented enough. I remember hearing some fans talk about, well, wait till Christian Watson comes back. Are you serious? Christian Watson? The guy who dropped a wide-open touchdown pass in the first game of last season? Well, he was a rookie. He's a rookie. You know, Randall Cobb ran a kickoff back as a rookie in one of his first games. I think it was his first game. You have to understand that, like, talented players stand out. And Green Bay, their front office puts too much on their shoulders, thinking that they're good enough to evaluate talent. And when you don't have that guy behind center, we start to see how trash you really are. You have to understand the offense complements the defense, and the defense can help complement the offense. So you're seeing across the board, we don't have a dominant side of the ball at all. Everything we do is contingent on the opponent that we face. We have an entire team filled with just average players. So if the average players, as they amount up, right? And I'm talking about C-rated players. Everybody on our team is roughly around, if you're talking about a Madden rating, we're roughly around a 76, 75. That's where we are on average. And as the season goes on and the mistakes are made with penalties and injuries happen, our C-rated team can squeak out some games, especially morale. Morale is one of those things that you can't even quantify. And that's what I think you saw last week. The morale of the Saints went low because they lost Derek Carr, right? That's a team that can make a run into the playoffs. They're not as good as the Eagles and the 49ers, but they're definitely better than the Green Bay Packers, especially when they have Derek Carr. I think they'll do better now. I don't know Derek Carr's injury, but I think they'll do better now that Jameis Winston can get a week worth of being behind center and actually practicing as a starter. He still makes some terrible mistakes, and he's not that good. But I think they'll do better. But Green Bay, we can't stop the run. We can't run the ball. We had Aaron Jones. It's so funny. We have someone like Aaron Jones, and we don't even use him. You have A.J. Dillon, and you don't use him. Matt LaFleur is a bad play caller. Let's call it what it is. He's not good. He is the face of our team, right? He's the coach now. He's always been the coach, but he wants to have one of those, like, coach-driven teams. not player-driven team. So he's the face. So to me, I see him from last night. He was super emotional, borderline crying on the sidelines. I look at you guys man to man and, just come out there and play. And to me, Matt LaFleur is soft. So he's soft. He represents our team, which I think is soft. And that's what you see as you get out there on a performance. But then look at Dan Campbell. He's talking about biting off kneecaps. And these guys are acting like men. They're brutes. It's like the movie 300, and they're just manhandling us. And they got, what's his name, Hutchinson dancing on the field and just doing us dirty. And, I hate to say it. I said it last night with my wife. I said, Detroit's been bad for so long. At some point, eventually, a broken clock is right twice a day. They're going to have to hit pay dirt at some point. And this is the problem. We relied too much on Brett Favre. We relied too much on Aaron Rodgers. I said it then and I said it now. We did not touch free agency as frequently as we should have. We got Reggie White, and what did that do? Produce us the one. We got Charles Woodson. What did that do? It produced us the one. And then what was the other notable free agent we got was what? Julius Peppers? But we had more guys out there who were willing to come to Green Bay. We can go on and on. Even Marshawn Lynch wanted to play for the Green Bay Packers. He reached out. We never picked him up. And the Lions win 4 straight games. Think about that. Against us. The tide is shifting. And it's not on Love. I'm not trying to blame Love. It started off that way. I'm sure if you watch all my other podcasts, it definitely started off that way. But our defense is just not good enough. Our special teams is not good enough. Our offense is not good enough. And we're just out here wasting money in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's like, we're better than a college football team. But, yeah, we're probably only going to win, maybe six or 7 games. Low-hanging fruit, guys. Low-hanging fruit. And I thought we would get the game against the Falcons. So, like I said, hopefully next week, Monday Night Football, October 9th, we get the Raiders. We hope that's good. Hope the Raiders come out. And, Devontae Adams seems to be disgruntled over there. And I hope they lay a stinker and we can get a W there. But the rest of the season doesn't look good. When we come back off that bye week, Broncos, Vikings, Rams, Steelers, Chargers, the Lions again, Chiefs. That's a gauntlet, man. It's almost like they thought Aaron Rodgers would be playing for us. That's 7 games back-to-back. If you don't want to count the Broncos, that's 6 games. You don't think the Vikings are going to win a game? The Vikings are better than what they've played. And I promise you, the teams they played against at the beginning of the season, they were legit. They lost against the Chargers. The Chargers are legitimate. They have a legitimate quarterback. Come on, guys. The Vikings, who they play? They played the Bucks. The Bucks are decent. They played the Eagles and lost to them 28-34. Now, that game was out of reach. And then they played the Chargers. All 3 of those teams are legit. And look, the Vikings put up 24 on the Chargers, 28 on the Eagles, and 17 on the Buccaneers. Now, if you compare the Eagles versus the Buccaneers, the Eagles dismantled them. But I'm telling you, we're 0-3 also if we start with that schedule. And then the Vikings look like they play the Panthers next. Then the Chiefs. That looks like another L. So it looks like they're going to be like 1-4. Then they play the Bears. Oh, my gosh. Then they play the 49ers. This schedule is stupid. Then they play us. They're beating us, guys. I'm just letting you know right now. After you get beat the brakes off of getting the Bears, you're going to stomp on the Bears, get the Chiefs to whoop them fools. The 49ers are going to whoop them. They're going to be pissed. They're going to be like, bro, we got 2 wins all season. Because they're going to beat the Panthers and they're going to beat the Bears. So you're like, bro, we need to. And then they run into Green Bay playing like that. Come on, guys. It's over. It's over. We're not going to be competitive this season. And I don't think we're going to be competitive next season. It's just not going to magically get better. I will give you this. Not Aaron. Jordan Love has the passes that he's thrown that I think have looked amazing and spectacular is the end zone passes. The passes to the end zone where he has to put the ball in the proper spot. He's mastered that. But what I've seen too much of is we get down the field through penalties, through mistakes on the defense. We get into the end zone / red zone area, and then we get a field goal, and it's like, bro, we can't rely on pass interference calls and face masks and personal fouls and 5-yard penalties to drive us down the field. When you play a team that's legitimate, like the Lions, that's when your sins are going to come out and get you. Our sins have found us, guys. I'm just telling you, the writing's on the wall. I think we need to I think we need to completely clean house. That's what I really do believe. I think you keep Jordan Love behind center. You start drafting some more QBs. I don't know if there's any QBs in free agency that's worth it right now. Maybe by the end of this season. To me, you give Jordan Love this full year and one more year. If he just continues to be mediocre, you move on. And in my opinion, you got to get rid of Brian Gutekunst, and then you look into getting rid of Matt LaFleur. Because I don't think Matt LaFleur is a great head coach. He might be a good coach in general on the sidelines, maybe helping out with like the QB room or wide receiver coach or offensive line coach or running back coach. But a head coach, no. Our defensive coordinator, he's terrible. The only good guy we might have on our team, coach-wise, is our special teams coach. We're just not good enough, guys. We're not prepared. We don't even have a dynamic offense. Are you seeing dynamic plays being called? Are you seeing Shanahan? Are you seeing McVay? I'm not seeing any of that. So we're not seeing great dynamic plays that put our players in great position, and we're not seeing talent that like, oh my God, this guy is incredible. We're seeing sloppiness. They're sloppy. They're missing cues. Their head is not in the game. It's not a high school game. It's not a college game. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You're expected to perform. Green Bay, Wisconsin does not have a big market, guys. They can't afford to go multiple seasons back to back to back to back to back with losing. They can't. Just before Brett Favre showed up, they were thinking about getting rid of the team. And I don't like the sound of that. Green Bay is only Green Bay, and I can say that wholeheartedly. Green Bay moves to a different team or a different city, man, it's going to be really hard for me to root for that. I think the Green Bay Packers are Green Bay, Wisconsin. I know you say that, duh, because they're called Green Bay, but I'm just saying the Packers are the Packers because they're in Wisconsin. You go to that city, you go to that town, you go to that state, you see why the Packers are the Packers. They get moved somewhere else, forced to get out of Wisconsin. They aren't the Packers anymore. I just want to see our team succeed. I'm not hating on Jordan Love. I don't want Jordan Love to fail. I pray he succeeds, but it doesn't look like he's going to succeed, and that's what I'm stating. That is all that I'm stating. We'll see what happens next week when we get to play the Raiders, which, it's October 8th, I believe. Yep. Because today's Friday. The 8th is Monday, or actually, yeah, was it Sunday? It's next week, either Sunday night or Monday Night Football on the 9th. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I greatly appreciate it. If you're watching me on Twitch, please hit me up with a follow. If you're watching me on YouTube, like and subscribe. I'm your nemesis, the nemesis. And hey, as always, I haven't done this in a while because I normally stream games, but if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, you should get to know him. It'll be the best decision you've ever made in your life. Look up the salvation prayer and ask Jesus to come into your life. It will be the best decision you have ever made. Peace, love, and hap. God bless. I'm out.